and maybe it'll work for the third time. Anyways, how's it going? This is my third time trying to record this because my camera does not want to work with me. Anyways, I had a thought today, actually yesterday, and it was about the Super Slam pre-release kits. I'm going to be fully honest here. As a pre-release kit, I did not like these. I do think they are a step in the right direction, but I feel like they were lacking something as compared to MTG's pre-release kits. Now, if you don't know, MTG has been doing pre-release kits for a long time, and I think, as far as I know, these are the only two games to have actual pre-release kits. I tried looking it up, and Pokemon sort of has a pre-release kit. They call it the Battle Pack or something, and then other games don't. Grand Archive had something too, but I don't know if they're still doing it. Most games, you get your packs and your promo. Even One Piece only has the promos. Yu-Gi-Oh! Has something. But Magic the Gathering and now Flesh and Blood seem to be the only two games that have specific pre-release kits. And Magic has been doing it for a long time and has something unique inside of it. But we're not talking about the pre-release kits specifically, but an idea I had, or thought I had, while doing errands yesterday. So I have been slowly buying these from my LGS because they're on the shelf. Not a lot of people are buying them, and I can't justify buying a $110, $120 booster box. These sell for $40, plus tax. You get 8 packs, and you get the cold foils in there, which is pretty nice. But it's 8 packs for $40, which is not bad at all. And a thought occurred to me. Why aren't these just a standalone product? So, if you're not familiar with Flesh and Blood, they only have 3 products. They used to have more, and there's Super Slam too, I know, but we're not going to include Super Slam, and we'll get to that later. There's 3 products. The booster pack, the booster box, and the armory deck. That's about the only consistent products we have. The Blitz decks are no longer a thing. The Blitz bundle failed magnificently, and any attempt at a starter deck just has not worked with them. But booster packs and booster boxes have always been a strong product for them. Until High Seas, when the price went up. And while some stores are sold out of High Seas, other stores have High Seas still on the shelf. And Super Slam, at least as of current, seems to be one of those sets that are sitting on the shelf. I don't know if it's the theming, if it's the price, or it's just because of how little effect it has on the meta. But for whatever reason, booster boxes aren't selling that well. Another thought occurred. What if it's just because the cost of TCGs are too expensive? Whoever you are, you have to admit the cost of TCGs are pretty expensive nowadays. Not just for the singles. The singles market's a whole different subject. I'm talking about the cost of buying products in general. $40 for an armory deck, $120 for a box. Even the Mastery Pack Guardian cost about $70. I think it was $60-something actually. But these are getting expensive, and people aren't making more money. It's not like back in the day where a minimum wage job could not only buy your house, but also pay for your kids' college. We're not there anymore for some reason, and that's kind of a fact we have to face, is that TCGs are becoming less accessible to adults who want to play it because they aren't making enough money to actually spend the money on the products. And I know I hear an argument that, well, TCGs are a luxury product, and are they really though? TCG started off as this game for kids. You would, like Yu-Gi-Oh! Playground Magic. And adults like it too, but it's really just a way for people to have shiny cardboard or regular cardboard and play cool strategies. Why is it limited to people who can afford it when there's options for them to get the product? Starter decks, bundles, etc. So a thought occurred to me. As a pre-release kit, I think LSS needs to go in the kitchen and do some work on it. But as a standalone product, here's something that they can have that competes with something else. If you're familiar with MTG, they have what's known as the MTG bundle. Usually comes with 6 to 8 packs. The expensive one comes with a collector booster, a bunch of promos, and a box you can put everything in. I think this idea could compete with that. Something that, with a little work, LSS could have stores put on the shelf, and people would be more interested in buying this than they would, say, a box if they can't afford the box. Obviously, if you can afford the box, you should buy the box. But let's say money is a little tight, or you just can't justify spending that money on a box. You can easily grab one of these, get some packs, take it home, and have an opening experience. Heck, they can even call it a sealed kit. Not just a pre-release kit, but a sealed kit. So that way you can take it home, buy 2 of them, and play a sealed game with your friend. Maybe throw in a pamphlet in here that explains the game, explains the heroes, explains some simple strategies like what Magic does with their commander decks. It just says, or not just commander, even their boxes, they put something in there that says, these are the colors, here's their strategies. Here, same thing, these are the classes, here's the strategies. Or, Pleiades wants to do this, KO wants to do this, etc., etc. And I think it would sell pretty good. From the small amount of data I've gotten, these things are selling decently compared to the boxes. And it could just be because it's a new thing, or maybe it's a price thing. But something like this could easily compete with the MTG bundle or the one-piece illustration box. Kind of the same idea, a bit different. The illustration box costs $20, but you have your 4 packs and you have your promo cards. Same thing here, 8 packs, promo cards, and you probably have something people will want. Not to mention, it will look nice on the shelf and make people who walk in, maybe they don't know much about Flesh and Blood, they look at the boxes, they're like, I can't really justify buying that for a game I don't know much about. But this, hey, that's not too bad. $40, yeah. And yeah, they could buy the packs separately, but at least in my LGS, we don't see packs too often. Packs really only come up when someone specifically asks to buy packs, and then the store has to open the box, put the packs in the pack display thing, and then that box just kind of goes, and those packs stick around until everyone buys them out. But something like this is something people want to buy. I'll admit, every time I see an MTG bundle, I'm tempted to buy it. I didn't buy a Spider-Man one, it's too expensive, but the other bundles, I'm always tempted to buy. And I think that would be a good idea for LSS to think about. Now, I do worry that this will just be the pre-release format going forward. LSS isn't going to change anything. We saw that with the Armory decks, how it took them over a year to add a pamphlet inside of it to tell you how to play the game. And then they took it out the next one, or maybe they already had it pre-made and for whatever reason released it later. I don't know. And then brought it back with Pleiades. So we'll see when the Rhinar and Arachne decks come out, if this is a thing they actually planned on including or not. But who knows? They have surprised us before, and I really think they should think about that. A new product that would get the more not rich players to consider buying something. Because there is a relationship between LSS and LGSs that have to be maintained, and just supporting competitive players isn't enough to keep everyone happy. You also have to have products that people want to buy. Anyways, yeah. One argument I can think of, though, is that you could argue, because it's 8 loose packs, you have no idea if you're getting a cold foil or not. And to me, I think that's kind of a fair argument. But also at the same time, it's not the point of opening packs. The point of opening packs is you do it for fun. Or for sealed. That's about it. Anything else is a nice bonus, but really shouldn't be a main factor of why you're buying a pack. You don't buy a box because you're guaranteed to get a legendary. You buy a box because you want to open 24 packs. Anyways, I'm going to open these two things for another video, compare them both, because I really feel like not enough people know much about other games. It seems like Flesh and Blood is their first game, and whenever Flesh and Blood LSS does something, they freak out thinking, oh, it's a new thing, no one's ever done it before. And that's not true. I'm not doing this to bash LSS. It's just that there's a lot out there you need to know. And some people know, they know. Some people don't. Anyways, I'm going to work on opening these in a different video. That was my thought process my thought on these sealed kits. I'm just going to work on something else. Hey guys, Post Mad Mech here. I just want to address two things in this video that I thought of while editing it. The first thing is, I know LSS is not a huge company compared to Hasbro or Wizards of the Coast. I'm not saying LSS needs to do everything Hasbro does, but they do need to do something, because whether they want to or not, they are competing with these big companies. Bandai, Konami, Hasbro. All these companies are on the same shelf as LSS. So they do have to keep that in mind. Also keep in mind that there are smaller companies like Weebs of the Shore that do put extras in their products. And LSS just doesn't seem to be doing that. The second thing is, I keep calling Smash Palace Super Slam, and I meant to say Smash Palace. I don't know why I keep calling it that. I think it's a naming thing for me. But I did mean Smash Palace. And the reason I don't consider Smash Palace a mainline product is twofold. The first is, the product just came out in August. End of August, actually. And so we have no idea if we're going to see a second version of this or not. And the second reason is, to me, Smash Palace is a board game. It's the successor to Round the Table, and it's designed to get people to play the game, but differently than you normally would play, with stuff like the event deck and whatnot, and the fact that it's a 4-player experience all in one box. So yeah, that's it. I just wanted to clarify those two things.